What's up, Internet? Well, let me tell you, it's almost 10 minutes to midnight. But also, today was like the hottest day of the year. That was fun. And today was one of the few days I actually got an odd job, which was kind of nice. And it was inside. But just for reference for how hot it was like 40, 45 degrees Celsius, which I think is something like 120 degrees Fahrenheit if you're a Fahrenheit user, all like two countries that actually don't use the metric system. But what was really bad about it was that, like, if you went in the sun, it was like 15 degrees hotter. And while I was inside most of the day, like, literally the very short, like, car ride home, yeah, I got sunburnt in that time. Like, that's how weirdly hot it was today. It was kind of astoundingly hot. So I've just sort of been crashing out in like the cool dark, trying to feel a little bit better. And well, it's almost midnight, so like I said, this probably isn't going to be going for too long, seeing as it's pretty much not today. But of course, you know, I feel obligated to do this every day, like I said I would, and thus far have not missed. So I intend to keep that going. But yeah, so hot day. Haven't really had too much time to do much else, which is frustrating because I'm actually really behind on a review I meant to get done like for last week. But on the bright side, I did get at least a little bit of money for rent and stuff, so that's nice. I'm not really sure what else we're going to do here. I think we might try and catch a couple of bugs and then probably call it. I don't think this is going to be more than like 10 minutes. And for that, I do apologize, but you know, there's just not much time left in the day, and I've got a lot more stuff I need to do before I go back to bed. But it's bizarre, like, just sitting in a car for like 10 minutes got me sunburned. It was like just that wildly hot. It's bizarre to have that. And you know, this is Canada. It's a place that is cold 10 months out of the year. To have this kind of heat is just peculiar. And I love it. I love the heat. I don't care so much for sunburn because I can't tan and I burn really, really easily. But I prefer this to being freezing and having to shovel snow, because shoveling snow is the worst. And you know, I hear everyone make the argument cold is way better than hot because, you know, if it's cold you can dress up in layers, whereas you can't dress down if it's too hot. But I disagree. I mean, you can have a cold drink, you can, you know, wear lighter clothes, you can go for a swim if you have like a local pool, or if you're by the ocean, in which case I'm really jealous because I live in the middle of like the mountain plains area. So far away from the ocean. I want to go to the ocean now. But, you know, I just prefer the heat to the cold. But I think, again, that's partly just because I live in a country that is freezing like 5/6 of the year. Like, it's not good for me. So even though this heat is way too much and, you know, I am burning myself to death sometimes, you know, I prefer it. Rather than, like, having horribly severe frostbite, which I also do. Oh, hey, Sahara's here. Do we have a carpet? We do not. Well, I guess we can't take part in Sahara's carpet racket or whatever he and or she does, because, of course, Sahara's gender varied depending on which version you played, similarly to Gracie and I want to say in later Animal Crossing games, Pave. I know Gracie and Sahara definitely got their genders changed depending on the region. I think Pave might as well, because localization is a little strange. Hey, I can probably go get a thing from Tangy, you know, provided that she's not in bed or she hasn't given it to someone else. You know, if that's the stipulation, I might not be able to get a thing from Tangy, but otherwise I might be able to get a thing from Tangy. Sure, let's give it a shot. But yeah, I don't think it's ever been this hot, like, in years. Nope, Tangy's in bed. I guess I'll have to try tomorrow. It's just kind of ridiculous, but, you know, it was a nice day. And I got to spend most of the sweltering heat, at least in the shade or indoors. So, you know, I got to enjoy it to a point, but I also got to be relatively safe from it. Which meant that I truly did get to enjoy it to its fullest extent. you know, aside from the car trip. How does that happen? How do you get sunburnt in a car ride? Like, that seems almost impossible to me, because I know glass, while it would magnify sunlight at points, it would probably also diffuse some, like, the photons or ultraviolet radiation or whatever that causes you to tan and, or in my case, burn. I just don't understand, but that was an interesting experience, nonetheless. We have room for one beetle. I think we will try and grab that, and I think that might be it for today, because, like I said, I got stuff to do. You know, I just want to go back to bed, honestly. But I still got to finish up a review, and maybe record something else. Actually, while I was out today, I saw this really nice dragonfly as well. Like, and it's weird, because there haven't been a lot of dragonflies this year, but it was like a black and white zebra striped one that had like a blue tip on its tail and like bright blue eyes, and I have no idea what kind of dragonfly it was, but it was cool. Because you don't see too many zebra stripey dragonflies. Well, you don't see dragonflies around here too often anymore. But I think that's just because this summer's been particularly warm. Not that I'm complaining. It also has been really dry. And of course, dragonflies, they tend to lay their eggs in like ponds and stuff, which are probably mostly dried out this summer. So there probably aren't too many dragonflies out there. But that was a nice dragonfly, and I managed to get a couple of photos with my iPod because, you know, I wasn't smart enough to think to bring my camera. A little unfortunate because it really was a pretty dragonfly, but I got a couple of photos. I'm going to see if any of them are actually worth keeping. But, you know, that's the thing, like, it lands on a pine tree that's blowing in the wind. And then suddenly, you know, it's, like, impossible to get a proper shot, especially when you don't have a good camera. Actually, that was another weird thing about today's weather, was just, it was windy, but it was, like, a really hot wind. Like, I've never had wind that was actually hot. That's really peculiar. At least for here. Normally wind is usually bitterly freezing cold. But that was just, it's like, again, like the sun, it was just a moment of something very, very hot getting even hotter. But you know what? I liked it. I like warm days. I don't like cold days. There are too many cold days. And this has been like the past 8 minutes of me just talking about how hot it was today. But man, like, it was just unreal. I've been told, you know, France and a couple other places in Europe are having similar problems, and a couple places in the States, so I assume it's at least somewhat comparable. Like, they're setting up, like, emergency stations for cooling down and stuff. I imagine that's probably something that my city did as well. But tomorrow should be a little cooler. And the funny thing is, you know, this was like the one day of the week it was supposed to be nice. Like, the rest of the days of the week it's supposed to be like overcast and crap. So, I don't know, but you know, I appreciated it. I got to enjoy it. And, well, you know, aside from the car ride home, it was nice. Oh, there's another beetle. And I do have room. I will catch it. Oh, it's just a flat stag. It's not a giant super beetle. Oh well. Anyway, I know this has been really short, but that has been the past 10 minutes of the weather today and why I'm doing this super, super late. Seriously. You know, ridiculously hot day, but it was nice. And it helped me, you know, pay for rent this month, which is kind of good. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time, which will be tomorrow, for something probably substantially longer than 10 minutes. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Peace out, Internet.